Have you ever looked at a camera price tag and thought, who in their right mind would pay that much? Some cameras are worth every penny, but these? They make you question reality. Today, we're exposing the 10 most overpriced cameras that will make your wallet tremble. And the final one on this list? It's so expensive, it makes Leica look like a budget brand. If you're obsessed with camera gear, whether it's top 10 lists or the latest rumors before anyone else, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss an update. Our channel brings you the most honest camera breakdowns you'll find anywhere. Before we dive in, let's clarify what makes a camera overpriced. We're not just looking at expensive cameras, we're looking at cameras that don't deliver enough value for their astronomical price tags. We're considering alternatives at lower prices, missing features that should be included, and whether the performance actually justifies the cost. So let's count down the 10 most overpriced cameras you can buy right now, from somewhat reasonable to absolutely ridiculous. Starting off our list at number 10, we have the Nikon Z7 II, coming in at just under $3,000 for the body only. That's $2,996.95 without a single lens. This mirrorless camera boasts a 45.7 megapixel full-frame sensor, dual X-Speed 6 image processors, and ultra-high-definition 4K video at 60 frames per second. On paper, it sounds impressive, with a 5-axis in-body stabilization system and a 493-point phase-detect autofocus system. But here's why it's overpriced. When you compare it to competitors in the same price range, the Z7 II falls short in several areas. Its autofocus system, while good, doesn't match Sony's tracking capabilities that you can find in similarly priced bodies. The video features, despite the impressive specs, lack some professional options that have become standard at this price point. Then there's the lens situation. Nikon's Z-mount lens lineup is still playing catch-up to Canon and Sony. For nearly $3,000, shouldn't you be getting class-leading performance in all categories and a mature lens ecosystem? Especially when you can get the Sony Alpha 7 R4 with better autofocus and a more established lens system for a similar price. Would you pay premium prices for a camera that's still catching up to the competition? Let me know in the comments below. But if you think this one is overpriced, wait until you see number 9 on our list. The price jumps significantly, and the value proposition gets even more questionable. At number 9, we have the Panasonic Lumix S1R, with its hefty price tag of nearly $3,700, $3,697.99 to be exact, for just the body. The S1R features a 47.3 megapixel full-frame sensor, a 5.76 million OLED viewfinder, and impressive weather-sealed construction. It even offers a high-resolution mode that can produce 187 megapixel images, which sounds incredible on paper. So why is it overpriced? Well, despite costing more than its competitors, the S1R relies on contrast detect autofocus with Panasonic's depth from defocus technology, which is notoriously slower and less reliable than the phase detect systems in similarly priced cameras from Sony, Nikon, and Canon. This makes it frustrating for anything involving motion, especially in less than ideal lighting conditions. And let's talk about size. This thing is massive for a mirrorless camera. It weighs over 2 pounds for the body alone, and is almost as large as a traditional digital single-lens reflex camera, which defeats one of the main benefits of going mirrorless in the first place. Portability, not with this camera. The lens ecosystem is another concern. The L-mount alliance gives you access to Panasonic, Leica, and Sigma lenses, but many of these are quite expensive or large, further compounding the size issue. Would you pay nearly $3,700 for a camera that's bigger, heavier, and slower to focus than its competitors? Drop your thoughts in the comments. But this next camera might be even more questionable when we consider what you're actually getting for your money. Coming in at number 8 is the Sony Alpha 7 IV at $2,499 for the body only. With its 33-megapixel full-frame sensor, impressive autofocus system with real-time eye autofocus, and ultra-high-definition 4K 60 frames per second video recording capabilities, the Alpha 7 IV seems like a solid package. It offers 5-axis stabilization, a 3-inch variable angle touchscreen, and even focus breathing compensation for video shooters. But here's the catch. Sony has significantly increased the price compared to the previous model. The Alpha 7 III launched at around $2,000, making this a 25% price hike for what many consider incremental upgrades. Yes, you get improved video specs and a slightly higher resolution sensor, but is that worth the premium? Especially when the older Alpha 7 III is still a capable camera available at a much lower price now. Sony has essentially moved what was once their accessible full-frame camera into a higher price bracket without adding truly revolutionary features. And that price increase is part of a concerning trend across the industry, pushing mid-range cameras into premium territory without truly premium features. This forces consumers to either pay more or settle for older technology. The Alpha 7 IV isn't a bad camera by any means, it's actually excellent. But its value proposition isn't what it once was. Sony knows their autofocus system is best in class, and they're charging accordingly, even if the rest of the package doesn't justify the price increase. But if you think that's bad value, wait until you see number 7 on our list. This next camera takes performance issues to another level, despite its premium price tag. At number 7, we have the Canon EOS R5, priced at a steep $3,899 for the body alone. The R5 is undeniably impressive on paper. A 45-megapixel sensor, 8K video recording, in-body stabilization, and Canon's excellent dual-pixel autofocus system make this a powerhouse. It can shoot up to 20 frames per second with the electronic shutter, has a stunning 5.76 million dot electronic viewfinder, and features dual card slots for professionals. So why is it on this list? 2 words: overheating issues. Despite the premium price tag, the R5 has well-documented thermal limitations when recording video. 8K, you'll get about 20 minutes before it shuts down. Even ultra-high definition, 4K at 60 frames per second? Prepare for limited recording times before the camera needs to cool down. Canon essentially created a camera with headline-grabbing specs that can't consistently deliver on those specs in real-world use. And at nearly $4,000, shouldn't reliability be a given? The camera was marketed heavily on its video capabilities, but the reality is that you simply cannot use it as a primary video camera for professional work without worrying about overheating. Now, some firmware updates have improved this situation somewhat, but the fundamental design issue remains. For a camera marketed heavily on its video capabilities, these limitations make the price hard to justify compared to dedicated cinema cameras or more reliable hybrid shooters at similar price points. You're essentially paying a premium for features you can't fully utilize. Is that worth nearly $4,000? Many video professionals have reluctantly moved to other systems because of this limitation. But the next camera takes expensive to a whole new level, crossing into medium format territory with a price tag to match. Moving to number 6, we have the Fujifilm GFX 100S with its eye-watering price of $4,999 for the body only. Now I can hear you saying, but it's medium format. Of course it's expensive. And yes, this camera offers a massive 102-megapixel medium format sensor that's nearly twice the size of full frame. It delivers excellent dynamic range, remarkable detail, and impressive 5-axis stabilization in a relatively compact body for medium format. It even shoots 4K 30 frames per second video and has Fujifilm's beloved film simulation modes. But here's why it's still overpriced. The gap between high-end full-frame and medium format has shrunk dramatically. Cameras like the Sony Alpha 7R4 offer similar resolution in a smaller, more versatile package at almost half the price. In many real-world shooting scenarios, most people would be hard-pressed to tell the difference between images from a high-resolution full-frame camera and this medium-format sensor. Plus, the lens ecosystem for medium format is significantly more expensive. A single GF lens can cost as much as an entire full-frame camera setup. The GF 32 to 64mm zoom lens? That's another $2,500. Want the GF 100 to 200mm telephoto? That's nearly $2,900. And those are just the zoom lenses. The prime lenses are equally expensive, meaning your total investment quickly balloons to over $10,000 for a basic kit. Is that subtle medium format look and extra bit of resolution worth doubling or tripling your investment? For most photographers, even professionals, the answer is a clear no. The camera delivers diminishing returns for that massive price increase compared to high-end full-frame systems. But this next camera might be even more questionable for the price, offering less resolution than cheaper alternatives in its own brand lineup. At number 5, we have the Canon EOS R3, launching at a staggering $5,999 for just the body. This pro-grade mirrorless camera features a 24-megapixel stacked CMOS sensor, blazing fast 30 frames per second electronic shutter, and Canon's innovative eye control autofocus that lets you select focus points just by looking at them through the viewfinder. It has a built-in vertical grip, impressive weather sealing, and 6K RAW video recording. But here's the overpricing problem. Despite costing $6,000, the R3 offers lower resolution than much cheaper cameras. At 24 megapixels, it has fewer megapixels than Canon's own R5, which costs $2,000 less. Yes, the R3 has a stacked sensor for faster readout speeds, but in an era where competitors are delivering high resolution and high speed, this feels like an unnecessary compromise. Canon is essentially asking you to choose between resolution and speed, while Sony's Alpha 1 offers 50 megapixels at 30 frames per second for a similar price. The R3's specifications simply don't align with its premium positioning in today's market. The eye control autofocus is innovative, but early reviews suggest it's more of a novelty than a game changer, requiring calibration for each user and working inconsistently in different lighting conditions. Is that worth the premium? Canon essentially wants you to pay more for less resolution, justifying it with marginally better speed and features that most photographers will rarely use to their full potential. For sports and wildlife photographers who need the absolute fastest performance, it might make sense, but for everyone else, it's hard to justify the price when other options offer more versatility. Think that's expensive? Wait until you see the next camera on our list, a professional DSLR with an even higher price tag and even more questionable specifications for today's market. At number 4, we have the Nikon D6, Nikon's flagship digital single-lens reflex camera, coming in at a whopping $6,499 for the body alone. The D6 offers tank-like build quality, incredible battery life of up to 3,680 shots per charge, and a robust autofocus system with 105 cross-type points. It's built to withstand the harshest conditions professional photographers might encounter, from freezing temperatures to pouring rain. It can shoot at 14 frames per second and has a virtually lag-free optical viewfinder that many professionals still prefer. But here's the painful truth about its pricing. Despite costing over $6,000, the D6 features a relatively modest 20.8 megapixel sensor, lower resolution than many entry-level cameras that cost under $1,000. Its video capabilities are also surprisingly limited for a flagship, offering just basic ultra-high-definition 4K, with no advanced features like log profiles or high frame rates that have become standard even in mid-range cameras. What you're really paying for is reliability and incremental improvements to a decades-old digital single-lens reflex design, at a time when mirrorless technology has already surpassed it in many ways. The autofocus system, while excellent for a digital single-lens reflex, can't match the eye detection and subject tracking capabilities of today's top mirrorless cameras. Even longtime Nikon professionals are questioning the value proposition. Is bulletproof reliability worth the premium when modern mirrorless cameras offer better image quality, video features, and autofocus capabilities at lower prices? For most photographers, that's a tough sell. This camera represents the last gasp of the professional digital single-lens reflex era, with a price tag that seems increasingly difficult to justify. But the next 3 cameras on our list take luxury pricing to absurd new heights, starting with a fixed-lens compact camera that costs as much as a used car. Coming in at number 3 is the Leica Q3, a fixed-lens compact camera with an eye-watering price tag of $5,995. The Q3 features a 60-megapixel full-frame sensor, a stunning Summilux 28mm f1.7 lens, and build quality that feels like it could survive a nuclear blast. It's also the first Leica compact to shoot 8K video, offers 5-axis image stabilization, and has a beautiful 5.76 million dot electronic viewfinder. But let's be real about why it's overpriced. This is a camera with a fixed lens that costs more than many professional interchangeable lens systems. For the same price, you could buy a Sony Alpha 7 R5 and several premium lenses. The fixed 28mm focal length, while versatile, simply cannot match the flexibility of an interchangeable lens system. What you're really paying for is the famous red dot logo and the prestige that comes with it. Yes, the Leica lens is exceptional, but is it $6,000 exceptional? When you can get a Fujifilm X106 with a similar fixed lens concept for less than half the price? The Q3 also suffers from the same limitations as other Leica cameras. A menu system that feels outdated, video features that lag behind competitors, and autofocus that can't keep up with the best from Sony, Canon, or Nikon. You're essentially paying a premium for the brand and the feeling of owning a luxury item rather than getting cutting-edge technology. It's like buying a Rolex when a Grand Seiko tells better time. You're paying for heritage, craftsmanship, and status. Is that worth an additional $3,000 over comparable cameras? For most photographers focused on results rather than brand prestige, the answer is a clear no. But if you think that's excessive, the next camera on our list takes medium format pricing to another level entirely. At number 2 on our list, we have the Hasselblad X2D 100C, which launched at an astounding $8,199 for the body only. This medium format camera features a 100-megapixel sensor that measures 43.8 by 32.9 millimeters, significantly larger than full frame. It offers 16-bit color depth, 15 stops of dynamic range, and a gorgeous 5.76 million dot electronic viewfinder. The camera includes impressive 5-axis in-body stabilization, providing 7 stops of compensation, and even has a built-in 1 terabyte solid-state drive. But here's why it lands at number 2 on our overpriced list. Despite costing over $8,000, the X2D 100C offers questionable value compared to other medium format options. The Fujifilm GFX 102S provides similar image quality for about $3,000 less. Even Hasselblad's own previous model can be found at a significantly lower price with comparable image output. Then there's the shooting experience. The X2D peaks at a mere 3.3 frames per second, slower than entry-level cameras from a decade ago. The autofocus system, while improved from previous Hasselblads, still lags far behind what you'd get from a professional full-frame camera costing half as much. The lens ecosystem is another pain point. Hasselblad XCD lenses are exquisitely crafted, but they're priced accordingly. A basic 3-lens kit with the X2D could easily approach $15,000. And what do you get for that investment? Gorgeous image quality, certainly, but with practical limitations that make it suitable only for deliberate, slow-paced photography. Is the Hasselblad name and that extra bit of medium format magic worth the premium? For commercial photographers who can bill clients accordingly, perhaps. For everyone else, it's an extravagance that's difficult to justify on any practical grounds. But if you think $8,000 is excessive, wait until you see our number 1 most overpriced camera, a medium format DSLR, with a price tag that will make your jaw drop. And finally, at number 1 on our list of the most overpriced cameras, we have the Leica S3, coming in at a mind-boggling $19,995 for the body alone. That's right, $20,000 for just the camera body. The Leica S3 features a 64-megapixel medium format sensor, measuring 30 by 45 millimeters, the Maestro 2 image processor, and Cinema 4K video recording. It offers an optical pentaprism viewfinder with 0.87 times magnification, weather sealing, and built-in GPS. But this camera represents the absolute pinnacle of diminishing returns in photography. Despite costing as much as a new car, the S3 was released in 2020 with specifications that were already outdated. The 64-megapixel resolution is impressive, but both Fujifilm and Hasselblad offer 100-megapixel sensors for less than half the price. The autofocus system is painfully limited, with just a central focus point, technology that would be unacceptable in a $1,000 camera today. The burst shooting tops out at a glacial 3 frames per second. Even the video capabilities, while present, lack the advanced features found in cameras costing a fraction of the price. Then there's the S-mount lens ecosystem, with each lens costing between $7,000 and $13,000. A complete 3-lens kit with the S3 could easily exceed $40,000, more than many professional photographers earn in half a year. What exactly are you paying for? The Leica name, German engineering, and exceptional build quality certainly. But in terms of photographic capabilities, the S3 is outperformed by cameras costing just 25% of its price. It's not just that you're paying more for diminishing returns, you're paying exponentially more for objectively fewer features and lower performance in many areas. Perhaps the most damning aspect is that this camera feels like a relic from another era. While other manufacturers push the boundaries of what's possible with computational photography, advanced autofocus, and cutting-edge sensors, the S3 represents a traditional approach to photography with a price tag that seems completely detached from reality. Would any camera be worth $20,000? Perhaps. But this one certainly doesn't make a compelling case. It stands as the ultimate example of brand premium over practical value, and that's why it tops our list as the most overpriced camera you can buy today. So there you have it, the 10 most overpriced cameras on the market today. From the somewhat reasonable Nikon Z7 II to the absolutely jaw-dropping Leica S3, we've seen how camera manufacturers push the boundaries of what consumers are willing to pay. What's the common thread here? Many of these cameras offer diminishing returns as prices climb. Others charge a premium for brand prestige rather than actual performance. And some simply can't deliver on their marketed capabilities despite their astronomical price tags. Which of these cameras do you think is the biggest ripoff? Or maybe you own one of these and think it's worth every penny. Let me know in the comments below. And if you're looking for cameras that actually provide excellent value for the money, check out our next video where we'll cover the top 10 cameras under $1,000. It'll be linked on the end screen. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss our latest camera reviews and top 10 lists. Until next time.